Hello and welcome to Green Fruit Gaming. Yeah, big news. It came out a little while ago, making a video now because, why not? And took some screenshots. Production quality. Anyway, this game over here, let's click on it. Crossfire X. It is going away. And yeah, that was announced about 8 hours ago, I think. With this guy right here, it says, and of course you can read it yourself, but it is with the deepest regret that we must inform you of our decision to terminate our service of Crossfire X. We want to thank each and every one of our players for playing and being a part of this journey with us. For full details, please visit this nonsense. But yeah, pretty much, I'm disoriented. But yeah, no, this is bad news. This is very bad news. Not because I was a big fan of the game necessarily, but just like it's bad news in general for gaming, like as a whole, I feel, because, I mean, look at some other examples, like, I don't know, Crucible? That's gone. How about games like Spellbreak? That's gone. And the reason I bring up these two games is that there's no way to play them offline. Like, they're just gone. And because, Crossfire X, even its campaign, like, that was an online only thing. Like, there's no offline campaign for Crossfire X, which you'd think campaigns would always be offline. It's not like it forced multiplayer or anything. You could play it alone. But it's just, it really brings up my argument that I keep having to make, and I really hate having to make this argument. Games need to be offline, or at least have some kind of offline component, like, to have a cost, really. I think if you're paying for something, you should pay for it and, like, have it forever, and have access to it forever. Of course, Crossfire X, it was a free game, but the campaign, I never played it, but it, from what I've heard, is not free. People did have to pay for that. And that is about to go away, and everyone who's spent money on that probably won't get a refund. And, it's a big issue. And when it comes to that kind of, like, online thing, campaigns existing at all, you want to look at a big fat example recently. Battlefield 2042 has no campaign at all. Never did. Never will, probably. But, that's a big online game that, once those servers are gone, it's not going to be playable anymore. And I brought up Spellbreak. That's a game I never got to play in the first place. I don't know if it is still up right now. They said it was going to be closing early 2023. It could be gone already. It could not. I'm not entirely sure. But I haven't played it. I probably won't play it just because, like, if it is available, I probably won't play it just because, like, I don't want to get super into a game that's about to disappear. Also, they said the reason they're closing it is because there's no one actually playing it, like no one online. Here's my thing with that is you can just put bots in there, make it offline. Like, make this game playable for future generations because late players still deserve to play the games. I mean, a lot of the games I own, like, I got them long after they came out. You shouldn't have to be an active player day one to get to play games. Crucible wasn't out for, I think, even like a week or a month before Amazon decided to shut that down. It was incredible how fast that game got shut down, and it's just gone. That's just the situation. And anyone who might be interested in Crucible now, or Spellbreak, or Crossfire, anyone who might see a trailer online and think, hey, this looks like it's right up my alley, I really want to play this game, they're not going to get to because it's gone. Let's say maybe you didn't have a PC that was powerful enough to run these games. Maybe you didn't have the newer consoles yet. You're too late to the party. You don't get to play the game at all because, sorry, the servers are off. We turned them off. It's such a simple thing, I feel, to just make a game available offline, not to mention have the entire thing actually there if you bought a physical release, because that's another big issue that's coming up. When I got my PS5, I got my first few PS5 physical games. I thought it was pretty cool. I noticed that it said UHD on the disc, meaning they're actually using 4K Blu-ray discs that, they fit more space on them. And I was thinking, okay, cool, this means the whole game is actually going to be on here. Maybe if it doesn't, play just off the disc, at least it'll be, downloaded straight from the disc and there won't be any online extras. Well, no, that's not the case. The scenario we're still in right now is that a lot of games, most or like maybe half, some portion of the game isn't actually on the disc. Some of the game is online. You have to download it from online, and it's ridiculous, I feel, to require people to have an online connection, because there are a lot of people who don't. And even if you do have an online connection, some people, just don't have a very fast one, and they're waiting, several hours for these games to download. The reason I buy physical copy is not only to collect, but it's also just so the game downloads faster, because enough of it should be on the disc that it downloads from the disc. And I don't know, it's getting to a point now where I can't really support any game that comes out as a digital-only release unless it's on, like, a stupid good sale. Like, I got the, Xbox Series X specifically because I wanted the disc drive. I got the PS5 specifically because I wanted the disc drive, because I don't want to be locked into digital-only games that might go away someday, or that might be delisted. Let's say, for example, Forza. The first Forza game on the Xbox 360, that game, it is technically backwards compatible on Series X. However, you cannot buy the game digitally. You have to have the disc in order to play it on the modern consoles. And, that's a big reason why I buy physical games, is so I can always have access to that game. Even if it's not for backwards compatibility, I can still, play the game on my 360. It's a really weird situation, I feel, and the fact that Crossfire X, a game that came out, again, so recently on the Xbox Series X, recently, or at least I feel it was recently, I believe it was available a little bit for on the PC side of things, but I played it for a little bit on the Series X. I wasn't a huge fan. I'm not going to be missing it, but the fact of the matter is that this is a really bad situation for the gaming community as a whole, and the fact that this keeps happening, it's not looking good, guys. Like, when games are released, the expectation, I feel, from most gamers, the expectation is, one, if you buy a physical release, the entire game is on there, so if you want to play it after the online servers are gone, after it's been delisted, you can still play it because the entire game is there. Personally, I've been bolstering my Switch library because I know the entire game, most of the time, is actually on the cartridge. If it says additional download required, I'll just get the digital version. I don't want an empty box, like discs. The game's probably not all on there. So that's the first expectation that I think people have, especially when it comes to physical releases there, not really officially, only when it comes to physical releases there. The second expectation is that these games are just offline playable. Like, when I say offline playable, I mean, like, if there are no servers for online multiplayer or anything like that, that the game is still available to play without those servers, that the game is still available to play offline. That's a huge expectation I think a lot of people have, especially when it comes to single-player games. Redfall. Redfall is going to be coming out here pretty soon, and even though it does have a single-player campaign, they said it's an online-only game, that you have to be connected to the internet in order to play the game, and when that's gone, the game's going to be gone. Redfall will no longer be playable, and this is a game that's not even out yet. This is something they can easily fix. Just put an offline version out there. Make it available for us, the players. Make it available offline. And three, and this is just a huge thing, is just longevity. If you plan on canceling a game, or not really canceling, if you plan on turning off a game, delisting it, shutting down its servers, anything like that, for people who still have it downloaded or have it already in their library, an example being Flappy Bird. If you have an Android device and you ever add Flappy Bird on there, even though it's not on the Play Store anymore, you can still get it by re-downloading from your app library. Games that you own, you should always have access to. Games that you own, you should always have access to, and you should always be able to play, even if, again, those online servers are turned off, because new players, maybe you want to buy a console that has PT on it. So let's say, you want to buy a PS4, you want to spend way too much money on a PS4 that has PT on it. Good, there you go, you can play PT. The whole game is there, it's downloaded. There's no online servers you have to rely on in order to play PT if you got a PS4 that has it on there. Even though the game was delisted, it is still playable if you have it. And when it comes to, Spellbreak or Crossfire or Crucible, these are games that, yeah, sure, they're online, but late players, they still deserve to play these games. So there needs to be an offline aspect to them, even if it's just a campaign, even if it's just bots, even if it's just local multiplayer. There has to be an offline component to these games. Otherwise, future generations who hear about these games, who might want to give money to these companies to play these games, aren't going to get to. And again, I know I'm referencing free-to-play titles here, but the fact of the matter is that late players still deserve to play games, and you're taking away that availability. So I don't know. It just seems like a really bad situation as a whole. I know I keep saying a lot of words over and over again, but it's what it is. This isn't a great time to be a gamer, unfortunately, especially if you rely on getting games later when they might be cheaper, or maybe when there's a larger player base. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't think they should be doing. I don't think anyone should be doing this. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's bad situation. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. If you have anything you would like to say, any comments, concerns, I don't know if concerns is the right word, but if you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask or say. I will most likely reply if I want to reply. I have nothing else really going on. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, do all of that fun stuff. Clip it and put it on TikTok for all I care. It's frustrating. Riled up. Very riled up. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have an amazing rest of whatever time it is for you. Goodbye.